Can you even see this new one? Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. It's time for that weekly Mod Collection Demo Shop update. They had some pretty interesting ones. We'll start off with this. It's a striking midnight blue one pickup Les Paul Custom. No toggle switch, no neck pickup, simplified controls, just 2 of them. But it's not a wrap tail. This time it's a stop bar tunematic setup with 1 uncovered humbucker. No pickguard or anything like that. And the black chrome was an interesting choice. I was almost surprised not to see a matching headstock. They did go ahead and give us a complete refinish, including our backplate being shot over in blue. And we got one of those special DS serial number styles. For $5,300, that Midnight Metallic Custom was actually a pretty alright deal. If you want to see one similar to that, we just recently documented this Les Paul Custom Senior with the cool candy apple swirl back and striking red top. But here's our next one if you like camo. It's no ESP custom shop, but it might do. Officially known as Grassland Camo Gloss. That's the thing that makes me happy about this one, is the fact that it is a glossy finish and not satin. You can even see our reflections here. But in order to have a very low profile, they went with these really strange looking knobs. Which kind of works. You don't have your poker chip, so it blends in. You've got your uncovered pickups, the black chrome hardware again. Honestly, I'm shocked they even left a pickguard on this thing. But let's be real here. If it was just the top, it would have been a fail. But they also did it here. It's on the back of the body. You can clearly see it's on the sides. It's on the neck, back of the headstock. It might not be the most attractive camo pattern I've ever seen, but I appreciate and applaud the effort. And oh man, really? Look what case they gave you. A government green. The interior is black. That's one of the coolest studios that they've done. Shutter Sunrise Burst is the color of the next one. It's a standard 50s. It's got lines on it. Reminds me of that Guitar of the Week Lava Burst one. Because if you look past the shutter effect, you've got like a red tent here, and then it's almost like a gold top in this area. I bet this would be more attractive in person. Like there's a lot going on here with the metallic colors. And the back they just left as a dark back. Kind of a dark maroon color, depending on what lighting situation you see it as. And hey, is that what I think it is? I missed that on launch day, but here, we'll adjust the contrast for you. You can see the stinger. They called this next one Midnight Pumpkin. But ooh, I thought this was a regular SG special on launch day. It's not, it's one of the Tony Iommis. So you've got the additional pickup surrounds, you've got the wrap tail bridge that's intonatable. It's just kind of like a reverse red burst vibe here. It's interesting, but how's our back? There we go. If you're gonna do it, you might as well go all out. Got it on the body. They left the neck alone, but gave you a stinger. One of those few times I would have liked to have seen the burst job everywhere, but that appears to have been a satin refinish. Along similar lines, we've got the purple inverse, Grape Gush. I'm feeling thirsty. I bet this one would look pretty good in person too. You've got your gold hardware, golden knobs, unique coloring, and pretty much all the same stuff on the back, including your stinger and bare neck. But this one is gloss finished. Next up is a very interesting Les Paul special called Cool Flame. Okay, I mean, if you're into hot rods, it's got that vibe to it. But I like our clear knobs, clear pickguard. You can see the flame touching there. If you want to see a similar Les Paul custom, I documented one known as the Tribal LPC, but the flames went from a different direction. But here's where they went above and beyond. We've got a nice light blue Gibson logo. That looks so nice. However, it looks like they overshot the blue and accidentally covered some of the Les Paul Special silkscreen, but a small price to pay. I've always loved the look of those, especially on the old Gibson Goddess series. This 50 standard was called Pumpkin Spangle. Relatively tame in comparison to everything else we've seen this week so far, but that is just a nice kind of reddish orange sparkle finish with an uncovered bridge pickup. And they just left the back black. There was Transgenta 339 figured. So we've seen this finish before. It's a translucent finish shot over top of red. So this area right here, you see how it's kind of purple? This whole thing will have that color shift effect. That's a lot more apparent on the headstock. It almost doesn't even look like it matches the rest of the guitar. But in person, it probably works better. But the back is the same hue. So not only do you have flames, but you also have color shifting. I would like to see them do that with different colors, because the red and purple's all right, but I'm sure there's other hues that might catch people's attention, that might help them sell quicker. Next up, Firefly Sparkle 345. I didn't think much of this on launch day, but now that I've seen it, it's like a really dark sparkle with maybe a little bit of a gold glitterness to it. They sold me here on the headstock. The reason why it's yellow is because fireflies, they go bleep. And man, they just need to put a little Firefly decal there, and then I would have had to have bought it. It kind of reminds me of the Moonless Night Les Paul custom, except for it's got gold glitter instead of the silver. But the nut had to have been replaced on that one. I think people are sleeping on that one. They need to take a closer look at it. And then lastly, superb purple sparkle SG base. That's another one. From far away, you can't really appreciate it, but then when you really zoom in here, that is a nice sparkly purple. And it's a full-on refinish. If you want one of these bases, not too shabby. And now visiting the European mod collection. They had this Celestial Crimson Custom, basically a metallic red with some gold hardware. That was a complete refinish. And they had a Satin Ambered Figured Natural 335. Wasn't really anything special. Regular Ebony SG base. And then an Iced Tea 60 Standard. Kind of a weak for them. But now when we talk about the demo shop, let's stay overseas, starting with the UK side of things. These guys have not been selling too much, so they decided to have a giant sale, 35%, 25% off, 20, 15, 10, pretty much everything's on some sort of a sale. I mean, that is a huge price cut on this prototype. Now, granted, it's kind of a lame model. It doesn't have that much collector value outside of, hey, I want to have a weird prototype in my collection, but $2,500, somebody needs to pick this thing up at this point, because it's worth it. As far as 25% off, most of this is just kind of where it should have been to begin with. Lefty Silverburst is a good deal for someone. In the 20% off category here, nothing exactly catches my attention, but you can browse it in case you're local. But if I had to pick one, I'd make mention of the factory stock Bigsby R9. That's not too bad, including value-added tax. But excuse me, my friends, check out this classic. That is such an ugly top, but I love it. When I say ugly, I mean it is not traditional in the slightest. But I would honestly rather have something like this than one that looks so uniform that everybody else has. This is a beautiful masterpiece. Might need to take the pickguard off. You've just got like a mask over here. And despite being a plain top, you can tell it's gonna have a little bit of a chatoyant movement effect to it. It's kind of spooky at the same time. Like imagine this with like a trans black finish, but then you move on to the back and you get some good wood grain back here too. Kind of a yin-yang situation going on here. And the neck has a really straight wood grain. That's a cool one. However, they definitely know it's cool. Even on sale, it's still quite pricey. I also thought the 60s figured was pretty good. A nice uniform top. And there was also a deal on a Firebird. I'd imagine that was also at least 10% off. So yeah, I can imagine why that sold. Whew, love that. That's a great wing. And the European side did a similar thing, 40% off Dave Mustaine Songwriter, 20% off all of these other guitars, which again, really just kind of puts them where they probably should have started, but this is a different market. They have different rules from the US side of things. But as far as what stood out to me, there's another classic. It's not quite as crazy as that last one, but still nice. I liked this figured top. It's not very figure-y, but at the same time, it's almost hazy. You can tell it's going to move in person, and that wood is going to be actually quite striking, but it's just a little bit different from all the other flame tops. But if that wasn't enough to sell you, check out the back. It's got like a quiltiness or something going on. It's pretty sweet. I'd buy it just for the back, let alone the unique sandy, dusty top. They had a GOO, but how do you feel about this 60s top? I'd say that's a good one. Nice and wide. Has a pretty large bird's eye right there. And an average back. Next up, a 355-59 reissue. It's just a nice guitar. Super top on this 59 reissue. Great color on it too. Okay price, all things considered, but that's a evil looking back with the aniline dies. And another okay figure top with a ribboned back. And now the USA shop to wrap things up. A lot of players grade stuff, a couple of Adam Jones, but there was a 59 reissue for $5,000. It's got a good top, good color. This LOO original is different than what we just saw. It's got one of the old-timey logos. There was an Epiphone high-end USA Frontier offered as a left-handed. You don't see that too often. Whoa. Figured back and small burst neck. Silver burst for $44. 70s Explorer, not too bad of a price at $1,900. The reason the price was so good is there's some finish checking by the neck, very common on a thick white finish. Tons of lefties this week. Thought I'd share this $335. And then the opposite, but modified with a trapeze tailpiece with a good top and matching back. And then lastly, just a nice transparent ebony $339. All right, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.